All right, guys, welcome to my new internet TV show called Tim's On Demand. It's my brand new entertainment show, and thank you very much for viewing my content. You know, guys, I'm very excited about this project that I started on YouTube. This is going to be a journey, like I stated earlier, that you and I are going to go through this journey together. So if you're ready, today's topic is going to be when people enter into your life. And I'm very excited to start this brand new channel, and this is my first episode. So if you're ready, let's do it together. Come on. All right, guys, welcome to my brand new YouTube channel. This is my first ever show, and I'm very excited for you guys to join me in this journey. Let me do this first before we get started. Yesterday, I mentioned about the people that inspired me the most. I mentioned Carol Burnett. I mentioned Flip Wilson. I mentioned also Johnny Carson and people like that. But the main person that I did not mention in this journey, and the person that really inspired me throughout my life, take a guess. Oh, time's up. It was Arsenio Hall. You know, Arsenio Hall was a very inspiring person. Came out through the late 80s and so forth. This brother was very talented. We're going to have a journey together. This is my first show. I'm very excited about this show. And also, I'm going to give you the first title, which is called When People Come Into Your Life. Now, when people come into your life, it could be for the good or for the bad or whatever the reason for it. But before I get started, let me do this first. Let me say, wow, look at this background that I had ordered. Now, this background that I have, I ordered this background. I think on the my intro, I just had a green screen up here and so forth. And I decided at the last minute I didn't want to do any green screening or CGI. That's why I ordered this and got this completely done very fastly. So shout out to me for doing that. That way, everything could just be more natural in a natural feel. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm going to go ahead and start the show because I don't have any sponsors, because this is my first YouTube show. And shout out to me for starting it. I just press record, and that's all you got to do, guys. So if you ever want to start a YouTube channel, go ahead and just press record and do the best that you can. That's all you can do, right? Now, I had a format, guys, that I was going to stand by, but I decided tonight I'm not going to do that. Instead, what I'm going to do is take this, and I'm going to be real with you guys. It's all about a feeling with me. It's all about entertainment, and it's all about a feeling. Like I stated in my intro, I'm going to give you guys about an hour, maybe 2 hours a night when I start doing my live streaming, and I'll tell you the upcoming news about that when I get that started. But for now, I'm going to do just like basic short videos, maybe 30 minutes or 20 minutes, just to get my feet wet in this YouTube thing, because I'm a brand new guy. You know, guys, I'm brand new to this. All of this is new to me, okay? So what that means is we're going to go ahead and start the show right now. And today's topic is when people come into your life. Now, when people come into your life, guys, it could be for the good or for the bad. You know, you never know when people come into your life, right? But it's a learning experience. It's a daily learning experience. And what you do is you vet that learning experience, and you take the experience that people and advice that people that try to give you, and you use it in your daily life. Now, some stuff is not good, but it can be a learning lesson, and some stuff is good, that you can use throughout your life. The most important thing is that through this life that we call journey, a journey through life, I should say, this journey through life, it's just a learning process, an everyday learning process, guys. And, you're going to learn every day of your life until they put you in the ground, right? So with that being said, I got two scenarios of a story that I want to share with you guys. And these are very brand new, very true stories that really did happen throughout my life. The first story we're going to talk about is an example of when people come into your life and ask you for advice. Now, when people come into your life, let me say this before we get started. When people come into your life, some people come into your life for a reason and a season. But you got to know how to vet between the two times, okay? The first time is basically just to give you advice on things. That could be, could be substantial. You just got to vet it through. And a season. What I mean by a season is this. And that's usually in the relationship aspect of things, sometimes we stay longer in a relationship, especially if it's toxic or bad, than we should have stayed in that type of relationship. And they were just there for a reason so that you could learn and waver through life using those experiences. And we stay too long, guys. I've been a victim of that myself, growing up as a teenager to a young man. And those people that came in my life, those women that came into my life, they were only there for a season so that I could learn from that, okay? But I stayed a little bit too long, and I wind up learning stuff the hard way, that heartache type of deal. But that's okay. We get through that. And it's something that's natural. Heartbreak and bad relationships is a part of life, guys. It's a part of a journey. Another thing I want to touch on with you guys is that you notice that when you're a little baby boy or little baby girl growing up, life is simple. Life is simple in a context where it's an innocence all the way from the age, I want to say from a newborn all the way to 13. Then when you turn that 13, you're discovering and feeling yourself and you're finding out what your journey in life is going to be. It's a pre-journey basically because you're still growing. Your mind hasn't really developed until you're like 25 years old. So what it is that from the ages of 13 to I want to say 17 or 18, you're learning about yourself as an individual. And then people are going to put stuff in your head. Most of the time it's out of love, whether it's your parents, family members, also with friends, because see, keep in mind now, there are some friends out there that'll love you better than your family. And that's facts. You got friends out there that I grew up with that love me just as much as my family. Now, I did fortunately come from a unicorn, very loving family, and shout out to my family for being very loving and very close-knit with each other. But there are people out there who didn't come from very loving and caring family, and they went to the streets. And sometimes the streets are the people that in their life, whether it's a teacher or a positive influence or even a best friend that loved them just like they were their family. Now, let me go on into the stories. There's two stories I want to share with you guys today, okay? The first one we're going to call, I'm going to call him Preston. It's a real person, by the way. Preston is a real person, but I'm just going to use this name because I don't want to expose anybody's real name. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Preston. Preston is a friend that I grew up with in my 20s, okay? He was the type of guy that you would call a ladies' man, but he was kind of like a street hood ladies' man, but a good guy, by the way. I chose to go to the college side of things, and he decided that he wanted to go to the streets, which is fine, but he's a good overall person. He was a little bit older than I am. He was about 10 years or 15 years older than me, my senior. And, you know, he really was a ladies' man, and, you know, he was a street guy, but he was a very good-hearted guy. So, to give you a good example, when people come in your life for a reason and a season, he was an influencer that came to me and told me about how the streets. Also, my older brother as well. You know, he was a good street guy as well. But this guy told me that good stuff that influenced my life and to help my life throughout my journey, and gave me great advice. So this one time to help him out and to show him that I appreciate everything that he's done through my journey, I gave Preston advice. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm going to show you an example of two characters. One is me and one is Preston. So one day, guys, Preston and I was just hanging out, right? And I was seeing this look on his face. I was like, Preston, what's going on with you, dude? What's going on, man? So Preston was like, man, you know what I'm saying, man? I found this lady, Tim. I'm like, what lady are you talking about, Preston? Man, this is the one. I know I said I was never going to get married or so forth, but this the one, cuz, oh, this is the one, man. And I was like, really, Preston? I said, really? He said, yeah, man, I know what I told you, man. Man, listen, man. I know what I told you, man. But this is the one for me. I said, well, that's awesome, man. I said, well, let me ask you a couple of questions. He said, yeah, man. I said, are you trying to, did you have any questions for me, or did you want me to give you some advice about this? Yeah, man, even though I got all this experience up here, you know, parking lot pimping and all that kind of stuff, you know, even though I'm not a real pimp and so forth, I'm just a man out here who just love a whole bunch of women's, you know, and that's in the South, they say women's with an S. I like a whole bunch of women's and so forth, man. You know what I mean? I just tired of being a player, man. But I see you got this new girlfriend and you put a ring on her finger, man. And you up here just talking about being her husband in the future, man. I said yes. And at the time I was married, guys. You know, I was engaged. And this was in the 90s, you know. I was engaged. We're divorced now, but she's a good person. But this is way back in the 90s, guys. It's about 94, 95, so forth, somewhere around there. So let me just move on. So I said, okay, so you seen a good example of what love is? Yeah, man, you know, it's got the potential, man. And I know you can make this little girl happy because you a good dude, man. So I said, okay, Preston, well, let me ask you a question. Yeah, what up, cuz? What's up? I said, listen, when you walk with this woman and people to ask you to present yourself, like, in other words, when you introduce yourself and you introduce her, the lady that's on your side with you, and they say, well, who is this person, Preston, that's with you? What do you say to her? I mean, what do you say to them? What you mean, man? What I mean, Preston, is this. When people ask you, what does this woman mean to you? What does this person mean to you? How do you respond back to them? I don't get what you saying, man. I don't get what you saying. What you trying to say, man? What I'm saying, Preston, is this. It's all about what that person means to you when you present that person. When you tell people, hey, this person means this to me. This person means that to you. In other words, let me give you an example. With me and my lady at the time, guys, I say, this is my fiance. I love her to death. She's a great woman. She's a positive influence in my life. And I'm happy to be a part of her life. Well, I don't know, man. You know, I don't know, you know. Like I said, I feel like this new woman, man, is the woman for me. You know what I'm saying, man? You know what I'm saying? And you know, he closed his eyes a lot, guys, when he used to do that. He said, man, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what you mean. Well, let me put it to you this way. Do you say that this is my main squeeze? This is my, you know, talking in the street terms with him. This is my main screen squeeze. This is my girlfriend. This is my lady friend. This is my future. This is my fiance. This is my new wifey. Is this my new queen? Well, she is my queen, dog. She is my queen. I can definitely tell you she's my queen, dog. But that's what I'm saying. So that's just a generalized statement that you just made. But they want to know what kind of relationship that you have with this woman. Well, I don't know, man. What you suggest I should do? Because I don't know, man. I just like the chick a lot, you know what I mean? And I just know, man, that I just want to make this thing a little bit more serious. Well, Preston, until you decide what you're going to do, just say, this is my lady friend. I really like her a lot. And she's a part of my future. That way, so that people will say, well, okay. And, you know, this lady is somebody's very special to Preston, you know. And, you know, and it'll keep the other wolves away from this lady that you care about a lot. Okay, well, I can see that he's feeling this lady. We know Preston, as in the past, he was this kind of guy that was kind of weaving in between women. But this lady right here is a very good, you know, prospect for something serious for this gentleman. You know what I mean? So that was a scenario that we pretty much helped each other. He came into my life to give me advice about certain things. You know, don't get hurt with certain ladies in life. And he saw that I grew and mature at the time. And I had a lady, and I vetted her and I picked her well at that particular time in the 90s. And she became my wife. Like I stated earlier, we're divorced now. And we're still good friends, but that's fine. But he needed my advice when I came into his life and told him how to vet women, not so much on a, you know, having multiple women in my lives and so forth like that, but just to give him advice about a serious or potential serious relationship that he was thinking about having with this lady. So I hope you guys enjoyed that first ever story that I told. And like I said, guys, before I get into the second story, okay, this channel is going to grow and it's going to get better and better, and the shows are going to get better and better as well. Like I said, with this YouTube channel that I created, what I'm basically going to do is this. I'm going to come up with a topic and then let you guys chime in by live streaming. Like I stated earlier, that this channel is going to be 70% live stream. I'm also going to be doing other content outside of the studio as well. That's the other 30%. I'm also going to be doing video shorts as well. So look forward to those in the future. But for now, until I get a little bit comfortable with this whole YouTube new process with this show, I'm going to start doing just pre-recorded stuff right now because it's just a learning process for me, guys, until I can get my feet wet. That's all. But it's going to get better and better, trust me, and we're going to have a lot of fun. But like I said, this is my first show. So don't be too hard on your boy now, all right? So with that being said, let's go to the second story. The second story is when people come into your life, whether it be for the positive or for the negative, is this guy, well, let me just say his name is Derek, okay? Derek is also another good person. Only thing about Derek is that he's had some rough times in his life. Derek was a very smart, intelligent person. I think he had a couple of degrees. But the problem was he got involved with them drugs and a combination of alcohol. So not only was he an alcoholic, but he was a drug addict as well. Now, with Derek, he was a very social person. Had the potential to be anything that he wanted in life, guys, okay? But somewhere along the way, he stumbled and fell. However, in this example, the second example, when people come into your life, because most of the time, and I'm not trying to be funny, guys, and you all know this as well, when people come into your life most of the time, let's just be honest about this. They want some kind of return or residual return, or they're in it for a reason to, and that's fine, you know. We're all guilty of that. But then your true friends, the people that really ride with you, that really care about you, that don't want nothing from you, you will distinguish that through life. That people that just want to see you do better, which is most of the time is a small group of people, okay? It's usually a small group of people that want to do that. But that's okay, because you don't need the whole world to love you, okay? You need to learn how to love yourself and appreciate the people that's around you. So when you have that one person or 5 people or 10 people or whatever the number is that really have your back, that don't want nothing from you, that's going to show you love, even if it's tough love. Because in this society today, I'm going to tell you something that I noticed. People want the positive. People want everything the right way. And people just want people to, oh, don't correct me. Oh, don't do this. Oh, don't do that. You know, don't judge me. But sometimes, guys, we got to be judged, including myself. We got to be judged, guys. Okay? And when people rebuke us or discern us, it's because they love us. Now, I know that we're a society where people are supposed to, you know, be yes men just to, you know, coddle your feelings or whatever the situation may be. But is that good for you? No, it's not. That's not good for you. Just like right now, I'm slouching and so forth, and hold on a second. You know, I'm slouching and so forth on my first TV show. If I had a live stream, people would tell me, well, Tim, you're slouching. Get yourself together, man. Right? But, you know, like I stated earlier, there are people that come into our lives for a positive reason. Some people come into our life for a season. It's all a learning process, guys. It's all a learning journey. That's all this is. And it's a learning journey for me as well. But back to this gentleman named Derek. That's not his real name, by the way. But it's just a name that I'm going to use. Okay? Just for his protection. At one point, Derek was a very influential person. And he touched a lot of people's lives. I think he had some adult kids as well. He should be probably in his early 70s now. He was a lot older than me. I think he's 20 years older than me. 20-something years older than me. But I met Derek when I used to do, one of the many jobs I had. I had 4 jobs in 2005 and 2006. I was just hustling, guys, you know what I mean? Just hustling through life. And I was a corporate guy in 2006. That's when it was, 2006. So I met Derek, right? When I was doing, with another gentleman, I was doing security at a club. It was a predominantly black club, you know. And I was doing outside security with this other gentleman. And let me tell you something, guys. I've seen some things. You hear me? I've seen some characters. Spike Lee could have made a movie out of this. That was just these type of people, you know, these type of characters, you know. And when you're working late at night like that, and, you know, you got a police radio and so forth, and you're just sitting out there chilling with your friends, you know, and doing a parking lot security, you see all types of things. And you become friends with the patrons there, the customers as well. So with Derek, his situation, because this was a sportsman's club, okay? So this just wasn't a regular club. This was a sportsman's club. It was predominantly black. Now the members there, especially on Sundays. There was like memberships there for them. It was a members only type of deal. But Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays, I only worked Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays, and I came in at 10 o'clock at night to 2. So it was just like 4 hours, But the members there, the people that put in the money for the club slash lounge on Sunday, where they actually did catering, a lot of those guys were members, and ladies as well, were retired military, retired police officers, EMTs, doctors, you name it. They were retired people. A couple of them was medical examiners and so forth, but most of them were like firefighters, military, EMTs, and police. They knew Derek. They knew Derek from back in the days when he was a positive influence here in Jacksonville, Florida. Okay? And that's where I reside, in Jacksonville, Florida. They knew him and they respected him. Now, this is a good example of what I'm trying to tell you, is that when people come into your life with love, okay? Now, the retired police officer, EMTs, and military, they decided, because it was a sportsman club, hey, let's just do something nice for Derek. We see that he's going through a problem. We're trying to get him through rehab and so forth, and he's actually doing well. But the problem is that his wife kicked him out. His kids don't want to have anything to do with him because they love him, but they're trying to show him hard love, okay? So in the middle of this club, guys, they had this doghouse, right? Don't ask me why. They had this doghouse, okay? Just stay with me for a second. He used to lay into the doghouse, okay, and sleep in there. Legs out. I mean, we talking about like he would go in there and just have his legs propped up. And you know how when you go to like the Family Dollar or the Dollar Tree or whatever, and you buy this little plastic, I think they're white and yellow and red and black, little plastic footrest. Yeah, he used to lay in there in the doghouse. Now, dude is like 6'1" or 2, and he's not a short guy. And he used to lay in there for some reason. He had a pillow. There was no dog chained up in there or nothing. But for some reason, psychologically, he felt like he had to live there. That was his house. And that was his home. So what they did was they said, I tell you what, this organization of people who were members of the Sportsman's Club said, let's do this for Derek. Let's go and get a van. It was a van from the 90s. I want to say late 90s, 97, 98. Very nice van, guys. It was a beautiful white van, and they cleaned it up real well, gutted it out. Now, during this time, flat screen TVs was coming into play, and also Bluetooth was coming into play as well. So what they did was they bought him I think it was a 32-inch TV. Gave him a DVD player, and they set him up with Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi was coming into play. So this was a perfect time for Derek, and they showed him so much love. They got the clearance. His license was actually pretty good. They went through the DMV and saw his license. Believe it or not, even though he had a drinking problem, his record was really good. I mean, he really didn't have any DUIs or nothing. But they just wanted him to have a place to stay. So they made it was one of those 80s type of vans. You remember those vans that they used to have back in the late 70s, in the early 80s, where you can put TVs and stuff like that and put a little bar in there and so forth like that. So they really did it up with him. They reupholstered the chairs, everything, guys, for him. And they said, here it is, Derek, just for you, out of love, understanding, we're going to do this for you. So he was touched. And I'll never forget, guys, when he saw this truck, this van, he was just like overwhelmingly, he had tears in his eyes and so forth. So the next week, everybody was just like, wow, yeah, man. You heard about Derek so far, man? Yeah, he got his van and everything. So I was curious to see, because he said he was going to bring it up there. They bought him a little throwaway cell phone, and he would call people and so forth and say, hey, man, I got a van and so forth. All right. I just wanted to see it. I wanted to see it because I was excited for this brother, you know. So I came up there in my usual time around 10 o'clock. And I was just like, man, this is a blessing for this brother. I want to see him do well, blah, 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 and so forth, right? So we get up there, and he drove the van right by the doghouse, guys. He got a little bit of toasty. He celebrated a little bit too much. But instead of him sleeping in the van, which they had what they call a jackknife couch that pulls out into a bed, and it had blankets, pillows. He even had a mini closet in there. What did he decide to do? He parked the van right by the doghouse and decided to sleep inside. Are you ready, guys? Of the doghouse. That's right, guys. He decided that he was so used to staying in that doghouse and keeping the van as his car on the side. And we were just all looking at each other like puzzled. We even had the officers that were still active and everybody that contributed money, and they were just looking at each other were like, And he told them that he appreciated it, but it was just like everybody was puzzled. It was just like the whole purpose of us buying you the van, bro, was so that you could stay in the van, have the mini refrigerator, have the TV, have the closet space, have all the amenities, the jackknife bed, everything that you needed there. And you decided you wanted to stay, and then it just kind of puzzled everybody, to be honest with you. I mean, nobody was mad, but it was just a funny scene. And I think some people had took some pictures of that. But it was just one of those situations, guys, that when you show love to people, even though I don't know how his life turned out. I think he went back to jail for something minor or something like that, or like a minor infraction or something like that. So nonviolent crime. And then he wound up selling the van, unfortunately. He's still a good dude, and he cleans up well. So shout out to him. I hope he's still living, and I hope he's okay. And I hope his family reunited with him. But these are the two stories that I just want to, break out to you guys, because, of course, this is my first showing, guys, okay? This is my first show, okay? And also, let me say this before I end this show today, because I just wanted to give you guys just a little taste of my show. And just, this is my first show, and I'm just breaking myself in, basically. If you guys have any show ideas, okay? Any show ideas for me, okay? Or anything that you want to talk about, especially when we get to live streaming, please, right now, I just got my Gmail account. So hit me up at Tim's, that's Tims, Tim's on demand at gmail.com. That's Tim's on demand at gmail.com. I will read all of my emails, and if I decide that I want to touch on a subject, because like I said or stated earlier, guys, I have a lot of life experiences that I want to share with you guys. But if I decide that your Gmail that you sent to me was a topic that I want to have fun with, and just present it to you guys, at least for now until I get my live stream going, then that's a good thing, okay? I want to make sure I want to touch on everything, because I want to grow this little community, guys. This is it. This is the life that I chose to use right here. And this is the life I chose to live. So shout out to me with my brand new background and my first show ever. And I want to thank you guys for viewing my first YouTube show. And if this is the channel that you decide that you want to be a part of, please, please, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing also with like-minded people. Now, before I end the show, let me say this. Like I stated earlier at my intro, the first intro that I did for you guys the other day, I'm going to walk you guys to the door. And that's just a new genre thing for myself. You know, it's called walking to the door. Sometimes I stated earlier I may do it out of song, and sometimes I may just walk you to the door. But at how I end every show, especially doing a live streaming as well, which is coming in the future, guys, I said, okay, guys, hold on while I walk you to the door. Well, that's what I'm finna do right now. And I want to thank you guys very, very much for watching my first ever YouTube show. I am so excited, guys. But don't leave yet. Hold on while I walk you to the door. Hold on. Thank you. All right, guys. That was the show. That was my first YouTube show. And thank you very, very much for viewing my content. Guys, it's going to get better and better, so just stay tuned. Also, if you have not, please consider subscribing to the channel if you like content like this. Also, share with like-minded people like yourself as the channel grows. But for now, I'm going to bid you guys a good afternoon, good evening, or good night, okay? And remember, this is not just Tim, but it's Tim's on Demand. All right, guys, I'll see you later. Have a good evening.